Enjoy the journey, not just the destination, they tell us. We've heard this time and time again, and it's so hard to enjoy the journey when we're so closely tied and attached to a certain outcome. Because then when we don't get that outcome, often we take those results and we make it mean something about ourselves, often tied to our worthiness. So I'm excited in this episode, I'm sharing with you the 2 steps that you can take to actually start enjoying your journey, to detach from the outcome, to set big, audacious, amazing goals, even if you don't know all the steps yet, and then enjoy the journey and be present in the everyday, full of joy, peace, love, happiness, and success. Have you ever heard someone say, "It's not the destination, it's the journey," or "let go of your attachment to a particular outcome"? Do you know what they mean? Do you know how that feels? How in the world do you actually do that? That's what we're diving in this episode. So buckle up and let's get going. Welcome back to the Permission Slip podcast. It's been over a decade now that I've had my coaching practice with the Amplify Life company. And for a long time, I've heard focus on the journey and be present and joyful in the journey. It's not the destination, it's the journey. Or release your attachment to the outcome. That's how you're going to be happier in the moment. And most of the time I was like, what the heck? How do I do that? And full transparency here, while there were moments where I would be able to do that and focus in the moment and be joyful, it really wasn't until the last couple of years that I actually embodied this. And what I'm going to teach you today is just this one thing that enables me to embody that, to set big dreams and goals, those kind that make you feel uncomfortable and you don't even know how you're going to get there. And you're in so much growth and uncertainty and you can't even see the path forward, but you know and believe and trust in your heart that it's going to come to fruition in the right timing, in God's timing. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. And what I want to start with is this. The first step that I had to take in order to do that was, to dream the big dream and to set the big goal, but to then ask myself, who do I need to be? How do I need to show up? And who do I need around me in order to make that dream, that big goal happen? And actually sit down and write that out. Write out how I need to think, how I need to operate, how I need to ask for help. What connections do I already have? What connections do I want to make? What do I need to be working through mentally, physically, spiritually, in my relationships? What conversations do I need to have? What are my conversations going to be like? What are the words that I tell myself going to be like? How do I need to be showing up on a daily basis in order for that to happen? Because when you set your big dream and you set your goal, there is an outcome that you set with that. Usually it's a number of people, or a financial outcome. And there's nothing wrong with doing projections. In fact, I highly encourage, as a business owner, to do financial projections of where you're going to be and updating that each and every month, your actual versus your projected, and make adjustments as needed. But separate from that time, here's the fun part. Here's the part where you can actually make the journey the joyful part. So when you get to the destination, it's like you already knew it was coming. You believed in it so much and you were showing up as if each and every day, that once it comes, it's not like the end. It's like a celebration, of course. But you feel similar each and every day because you're showing up in the energy, the high vibe energy. And so after you write all of that out, the second step is to write out your new success measurements. For example, my old success measurements might have been something like number of people sign up, number of people added to my email list, amount of revenue, amount of sales for the month, something along those lines. I'm sure you can relate, whether you're in a corporate career or whether you own your own business. We all have KPIs, and those are usually number driven. But those don't have to be our success measurements on a daily basis. Our success measurements on a daily basis should match that vision for that person that we're showing up as. And so I have 10 success measurements. I want to give you my 10 success measurements because I know that if I'm doing these things, if I'm successful in these 10 areas, that means that I'm showing up as my highest and best in my full capacity because we're the only ones that limit our capacity. It's not really about time or money. It's just us limiting our own capacity or ability to ask for help. The biggest question that I used to always ask myself is, how am I going to do this? And that question often changes now. Who do I need to help me do this? Because I know in order to grow and scale to the next level that I'm going, it's not about how, it's about who. So going back to the success measurements and looking at your highest and best self that's showing up each and every day in your highest capacity, what are those things that you need to do to show up as that person? My number one thing is, and feel free to steal any of these. I would love to hear the ones that you relate to most. So make sure to send me a DM, shoot me an email, share it on your social, and tag me, because these success measurements have really changed the game for me. Because what would happen in the past, and I knew logically that this wasn't something that I should be doing, but I would see a measurement, a number, a dollar amount, a figure, and then I would make it mean in my subconscious, mean something about me or my worthiness, or maybe I wasn't doing the right thing. And often in my past, I would stop too soon. I wouldn't push through. I wouldn't finish what I've started. And the world needs us, each of us, and our unique gifts. And it's a disservice that we're all doing when we're not finishing, when we're not pushing through. So my number one is I wake up each and every day with energy and enthusiasm. So if I'm waking up each and every day with energy and enthusiasm, that means the previous day I took care of myself. I went to bed on time. I had some psychological detachment from work, which means I'm not just overworking into the nighttime. I'm not drinking. I feel amazing in the morning. So if I wake up with energy and enthusiasm, I know the previous day I was able to show up as my highest and best in my highest capacity. And that day that I am waking up, I'm going to as well. Do you see how this works? No longer am I tying my worth or my value or placing good or bad, right or wrong, success or failure on it. It's just I'm showing up as this highest version of myself. The second thing is I work on projects that excite me. That's important to me. I'm not just bogged down in busy work. If you've been listening to the podcast, you've probably heard me talk about this year, but Pareto's principle around the 80-20 rule, right? So 20% of your effort is going to bring 80% of your success. So what are those activities that I should be doing that are so exciting for me in that 20%? That's going to make the biggest impact. And it is not administrative work, getting bogged down, doing things just to stay busy. So I work on projects that excite me, and that means I have disciplines and systems around the work that I'm doing, and I'm planful, and I do focused, deep work. The third thing is people around me have a growth mindset and challenge me to be my best. Now, this is something that may take a little bit of time. Maybe you don't have people around you that have a growth mindset and challenge you to be your best. And so you have to seek it out. The number one catalyst that changed everything in my life and business was getting myself into rooms where I wasn't the smartest. I didn't have the most money. I didn't have the most business success, but I was uncomfortable and I learned. And it's almost like double, triple, quadruple, 10 times my growth and success in my, not only my business, but my personal life as well. When I get myself into rooms where I'm kind of the low man on the totem pole, and that's when you learn the best. So get yourself around people that have a growth mindset and challenge you to be your best. Number 4 success measurement is I don't have to wear a watch or set an alarm clock, and I focus on not rushing each and every day. This not rushing intention is something that I've had for a number of years because I recognized that while I was building the life that I love, I still had this ingrained in my nervous system that I always needed to rush. It was like I was cooking my breakfast on the stove, closing the fridge with my foot, and brewing my coffee at the same time. Why am I doing that? Can I be more intentional and just really focus in on what's happening? I don't need to be multitasking. And so not setting the alarm clock also means that I have a good cortisol response. So my health is really good because I usually go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day. And so naturally, I sleep really, really well. And I don't have to set an alarm clock because I wake up. It's so beautiful and it works. Number 5 is I can wear what I want all the time. And to some people, this may sound silly or frivolous or what's the word that I'm looking for? Like I'm focused on outward appearance, but I know that when I'm at my best, that I'm at my most healthiest weight, that I am the strongest, that I am not feeling overtired or bloated. And whatever clothes are in my closet, I can wear them because they fit, because I no longer have a wardrobe that's extensive of different sizes. There's one size and that's it. And it fits. And I know that if I can wear whatever I want when I want, that's a success measurement. Number 6 is we can live anywhere we choose. Often I hear, oh, you're so lucky. You can walk outside every day. You're so lucky living in Miami Beach. Honestly, it's a choice. It's a choice to live here, and we all have a choice. And that's one of our success measurements, is that we are not so attached to any one thing except for ourselves, God, and each other, mine and Joel's relationship, that we can choose to live wherever we want to. It's really, really freeing. The next thing is we can see our friends and family anytime that we want, which means that we have enough disposable income in order to travel without feeling strapped, with still having savings. And that is a success measurement because we are being good financial stewards of our money. The next thing is I can say no to any opportunity that's not aligned, regardless of financial gain. And for me, that comes down to 2 things. Is one, again, being a good steward of our money financially. And 2, really focusing in and being heart-centered and knowing that when something's not right for me, I know in the past I've said yes to taking on clients or taking on jobs and taking on contracts because of the dollar amount associated with them. And it didn't feel good on either side. And you'll know when it's not aligned. And the thing is when it's not aligned, you're not going to be able to make the impact that you're meant to make. I mentioned earlier that each of us have that unique gift inside of us. And if we say yes to something that we know inherently, intuitively, there's that whisper that it's a no, but we're saying yes because our ego is saying yes because of a dollar amount. We're also saying no to something else that we're meant to be doing where we could actually be making an impact. Number 9 is I hear from God and I interact with him daily. Now, this could be whatever your spiritual relationship is, but this means that I'm taking time to slow down. I'm taking time for prayer and meditation, for journaling, for reading my Bible or my devotional, whatever it is that I'm choosing for the day, and having multiple conversations and multiple opportunities. I'm going on my God walks. I'm doing my transition rituals, things that allow me to have that space. And the most beautiful guidance always comes through. The best ideas always come through on those God walks, which are just basically like a walking meditation and so beautiful. And then the last thing, and the number 10 thing is I feel deeply connected to God, myself, and Joel, which means that I'm not overworking, which means that I'm making space for the people and things that matter the most. And then I'm living and designing a life based on joy and faith and peace and love, and one that feels good to me. It doesn't just look good on the outside, it feels good on the inside. So those are my 10 success measurements. I have these written down. I review them every day along with my 2024 intentions, my word for the year, which is significant. Do you even remember your word for the year? It's time now to look it up. My intentions for the year. Here, I'll read them to you so you can check back on your intentions that you set in December or January. I lead with bold, clear vision. I seek simplicity, wisdom, and depth. That depth and that deep work is really something that's coming through this year. I work with focus and flow in my 20%, and I celebrate my wins daily. I put my relationship with God and Joel first, and I allow myself to fully experience life and play a lot with way more pinch me moments. There's also goals written on that page, but that's not what we're talking about today. So this is really the secret to actually live out enjoying the journey, to separate yourself from the outcome, to show up in your highest capacity and at your highest and best each and every day. So I encourage you, you don't have to have 10 success measurements. Maybe you have one. Maybe you start with, I wake up with energy and enthusiasm each and every day, and that's it. Maybe you have 3. Whatever you choose, do what's right for you. But then review that. Don't just write it down. Review it. Did I wake up with energy and enthusiasm today? Yes, I did. And maybe, there's sometimes when it's like, no, I didn't. So what happened? And maybe we need rest. Maybe we need more renewal. At times when I'm in a full season and I'm traveling and moving and speaking and teaching and doing a lot at one time, I may not wake up with energy and enthusiasm the next day because I just need a day of rest. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that it's not successful, but being super self-aware of these success measurements are going to help you find that joy and that peace and that sense of aliveness that we are all missing right now, because we are allowing ourselves to get too discouraged. And discouragement is the key factor that I really believe that's holding so many of us back, because we are tying our worth, our worthiness, and what's meant for us or what's not meant for us to a certain outcome, instead of making sure that we're showing up in our God-given significance and in our authenticity and at our highest and best capacity each and every day. And if we can just do that and have success measurements that match that, oh my gosh. What you can do, that others saying anything is possible, anything is freaking possible. For me, for you, for everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And as always, if you found it helpful and you think someone else might find it helpful, I would really appreciate if you would send them a link to this podcast. And don't forget, there's still time to join us September 20th and 21st in Bend, Oregon at the Amplify Your Life World Conference. We want to see you there. We want you in the room. This is where you get to bring your energy, knowledge, and expertise and share it with other thought leaders and change makers and learn and grow and collaborate both professionally and personally. So I can't wait to see you in person and hug you and squeeze you and do all the things. So I'll see you in September in Bend. And thanks as always for listening to the podcast.